Can anyone give me an example of...
The other half was found in the mine.
Diabolical spirit.
In an abandoned coal mine, two men are making meth when a Wendigo attacks and murders Kenny Glass and mauls Frank Weaver. After being bitten by the legendary creature, Frank starts to slowly change into another Wendigo. Frank's 12-year-old son Lucas secretly holds Frank captive inside their isolated home because he believes his feral father can be saved if he completes the metamorphosis. Lucas does this in part to protect his younger brother Aiden, who eventually starts his own transformation after Frank attacks him. Julia Meadows, a sober alcoholic who left Cispus Falls 20 years previously to avoid her violent father, relocates there to work as a teacher. Paul, Julia's brother and the current sheriff of the town, takes Julia in for a while. Difficult upbringings and Julia's sorrow about leaving Paul. Julia shows concern for Lucas's welfare in light of the boy's unsettling artwork and weird tale of a pack of hungry bears turning into monsters. Julia worries that Lucas and his brother might also come from a dysfunctional household as she tries to get to know Lucas and learns more about his family. While out for a hike in the woods, Native American and former Sheriff Warren Stokes discovers half of Kenny Glass's mutilated body. Later, police find the remaining half in the coal mine. Stokes gathers an antler and observes that there are native wards hanging all over the mine. Ellen Booth, the principal, is shown the ominous illustrations by Lucas by Julia. Ellen reluctantly agrees to go to the Weaver home and talk to Frank about his son despite her first hesitations. Ellen walks inside the house and discovers Aiden in a horrifyingly messy state. Frank brutally massacres Ellen. Then, a Wendigo emerges from Frank's body. Lucas is targeted by a classmate named Clint Owens as he walks home from school. Frank unexpectedly attacks Clint in a brutal manner after changing into the Wendigo. When Lucas returns home, he discovers Ellen Booth torn to pieces on the floor and his brother Aiden missing. Julia tries to persuade her brother that there might be a connection between Frank Weaver and Ellen and Clint's disappearances. Shortly after arriving, Paul and his deputy, Daniel LaCroix, depart Frank's house because nobody is there. On her own, Julia returns to the Weaver residence. The moment Ellen's automobile is located outside, her body is found inside. Additionally, Paul and the police discover the strange remains of Frank's human body. Lucas is sent to the hospital to receive care for physical abuse and undernourishment. Paul and Julia quarrel about Julia's desire to take on the role of guardian for Lucas until his lawsuit is resolved. Paul and Julia bring Stokes Lucas's sketches. As he tells the legend of how cannibalism cursed mankind to become animals, he displays the antler he obtained from the mine. Paul doesn't think the Wendigo story can account for the horrifying fatality since it is too imaginative. Lucas arrives at Julia and Paul's home. Julia informs Lucas that his father passed away, but Lucas asserts that his father was resurrected and that as long as Frank is nourished, he will begin to love him once more. Lucas adds that Frank will pick him up and drive him and Aiden to the mine. Daniel is prompted by noises to check out the shed next to the Meadows residence. Just before the Wendigo unexpectedly murders Dan from behind, Dan discovers Aiden hiding. Dan's call prompts Paul to fly home. The monster strikes Paul with great force. Lucas accompanies Aiden and the Wendigo back to the mine as Julia tends to her brother's recovery. To protect the two youngsters, Julia drives to the mine and faces the monster. In the end, Lucas assists Julia in bringing the monster to justice after having a change of heart regarding what actually transpired to his father. The heart of the Wendigo is severed by Julia. Julia and Lucas watch Aiden change into the next Wendigo as it happens. Lucas maintains that Aiden is only ill. Lucas is persuaded by Julia that it is too late to save his brother. Julia apologizes and hugs Aiden before killing him with a knife. Paul and Julia reluctantly decide to keep taking care of Lucas. Paul believes the curse might persist, though, as his Wendigo wound causes him to cough up blood that is colored.